Internet, I am Aries Trinity P, and today's video topic for discussion is finding what makes you a good player in your own unique way. Now, it's no surprise that every individual player in any game, whether it be Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Call of Duty, any and all games, have something that makes them tick and something that makes them roll. Everyone has the certain something that works good for them and other things they are not as good at. Now, obviously, the game in discussion for today will be Counter-Strike Global Offensive. However, you can take what I'm saying and apply it to any game out there that has any type of role or particular playstyle you can fill. Now, with Counter-Strike, with any professional team or even just an amateur team that is trying to fit a professional model, so I'm not talking about a matchmaking team that's just you queue a matchmaking and you get teammates. I'm talking about people who practice together and have a way of communicating with each other regularly and playing. Now, the general team composition for one of these teams is you have your in-game leader / caller, who is the brains behind the operation. Usually they play a little more back. They aren't getting right up into the enemy's faces, but they're reading the situation as their teammates are making calls. They're thinking about it, they're internalizing it, and figuring out what's happening. They're someone who can multitask very easily. They hear, hey, there's two guys pushing B, there's one guy short A, so on and so forth, and eventually throughout all these calls and throughout looking at the map, they're able to determine this is what we need to do. They're able to say, guys, I think we should split A now. There is also your entry fragger role, the guy who is first into the bomb site or first into whatever lane you are trying to take to try and open it up with some big kills. After that, of course, you have your support players. Support players can do anything from just throw nades to support the rest of their team, or throw a flashbang to get their entry fragger in, or go with their AWP player to make sure that their AWPer doesn't die. They basically do exactly that, support. Now, of course, you have your AWPer. Now, not every team has a designated AWPer, but in today's day and age, it is a very useful thing to have, and frankly, designated AWPers, at least good ones, are hard to come by. I know there's a lot of 12-year-old kids who think they are hot shit with the AWP and love to use it. It does not necessarily make them a good designated AWPer. In all reality, the AWP is a very weak gun in comparison to the AK-47 and the M4, at least when it comes to higher level play, because the AK-47 can also kill in one bullet, just like the AWP can. However, the AWP can only put out one bullet for twice the cost, and you only get $100 per kill, whereas the AK you're getting $300. And then, obviously, with the M4, you're also still getting $300, and it's still a much cheaper cost. So AWPers that are good at their job and that it is worth spending the almost $5K on an AWP in a round to give it to them are very hard to come by. That's why you usually only see one on a team and maybe another guy who can provide a secondary AWPing position. Now, when you're playing at the lower ranks, obviously, you can have more people using the AWP. The AWP is going to be easier to use, but when you're getting into higher tier play, finding good designated AWPers can be a hard thing to do. Now, with that said, my topic of discussion, as I said, will be finding what makes you special. Now, this can be anything from finding your weapon to your role. If you're on a team, let's say, you've got you and 4 of your buddies, you're on a team, and they're having you entry frag, but then at the end of every game, they're looking at the scoreboard and seeing that you have bad kills, or that you aren't performing, that you just aren't playing good. Well, part of it could be that you are in the wrong role. Part of it could be you just aren't ready to play at that level of play, which is perfectly understandable. People need to move at their own pace, and it takes a lot of time to master a game like Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is a very easy game to play, a very hard game to master. Now, with that said, you might be in the wrong position. Although you are entry fragging, although you might think you're good at it, your friends could tell you, hey, switch up and try support this time. Just be the second guy into the site. And what do you know, you might come alive as a player. So you need to find what it is that makes you good, and you need to work to those talents. If you're incredibly good with the AWP, keep working at it and try to become very good with the AWP and improve with it. If you've got a brain for the game, if you've got a knack for thinking, and you think you can IGL in game lead, you should give it a try, because the North American Counter-Strike scene is very short on North American in-game leaders and strat callers that are very good at their job. The European scene has more players in that department, but even so, no matter what nationality you're from, in-game leaders are very desirable and very needed, especially good ones that can not only lead in-game, but can understand people and communicate well with others. Now, aside from your actual role, there's some things that you know that you're good at. For me, if you have been watching this gameplay in the background, you can probably tell I am not a good tapper in any sense of the word. One taps, so to speak, are not my thing. I've never been that good of a pistol round player. Anything that requires a one bullet precision shot is just generally not what I'm very good at. However, I can spray very, very well with most any weapon, specifically the AK and the M4, which I use most of the time, seeing as how those are the main rifles that you should know how to use. But if you watch this clip right here, I can easily spray down all of these bots at decent ranges without missing a beat. I will admit 2 of them are weak, but the point is I know how to spray, so I know that in most gunfights, I should take it upon myself to spray and burst rather than tap. Now obviously there's some gunfights where I do know, hey, this is tap range, I should be tapping. I know what I am good at, and I work to get better at that consistently. I am decent with the AWP. AWPing is something I can do. If I warm up my AWP for a little while before I queue, I can go off with the AWP, but it's not something that I can do consistently day in and day out. There's some days I am on with the AWP and it's good to feed me one, but there's other days I'm not. With each individual player, you have to find what is good for you and you have to create your own identity. Now within each style of play, within each role, there is even more that goes into it. Let's take AWPing, for example. With AWPing, we've got some very different, diverse ways to play with the AWP. We have AWPers like Skadoodle from Cloud9, who what makes him so good is he is incredibly good at positioning, and he knows where to set himself up with his AWP and knows how to read the map in order to get kills with his AWP. Other players like JW are aggressive AWPers that can just peek and hit shots. They have a fast reaction time. They know how to position themselves in aggressive spots to use the AWP as if it's a long-range shotgun. They can get in close and deal big damage. Same with Fallen from SK Gaming. Within using the AWP, there are many different ways to use it aside from just being able to shoot it. There's different play styles that you can work with while using the AWP. And the same is true with any other entry position, support position, or in-game leading position. Take a player like Zeus from currently Gambit, formerly of Na'Vi. As an in-game leader, he is incredibly slow if you watch how he commands his team. They're usually just sitting in default positions waiting for picks for most of the round. Then once you get in like the last 30 seconds or so, all of a sudden they'll try and burst out onto a site. A team like SK Gaming or Immortals, the 2 teams from Brazil, at least the 2 main teams from Brazil, have very explosive play styles. They get in your face, they don't give you any mercy, they don't relent. A team like Fnatic relies almost entirely on gun skill. Their in-game leading is comprised around winning gunfights and getting in your face and just outgunning you. They don't use as much fancy utility, although I've seen Crims throw some pretty nice smokes in my day. But their primary playstyle is just winning gunfights. Now you have to find what you're good at. There are some people who are just kill tanks, and some people who aren't that good at shooting. They aren't kill tanks, but they've got a great thought process behind the game, and they know how to analyze things. Now what's the best thing you can do is to know what you're good at and know what the people you are playing with are good at, and be able to work in synchronization with each other. You have your in-game leader, your guy who's got a brain for the game, thinking in a way, how can I put my kill tank player in a position that's good for him? When you two work together, it can work wonders. You have your in-game leader setting up your big kill guy with fast reaction time and great aim and all these traits in a position to get kills. And one thing I would like to say is that one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a player is trying to force yourself to be something you're not. If you're playing on a team with some people, whether it's friends or other people within your skill group that you're trying to start a team with, the last thing you want to do is lie to yourself about what kind of player you are. If you want to be some star player, some kill tank, you want to be the next Nico, like from FaZe Clan, or the next Cold Zero, who's just going big every game getting kills, but you don't have the traits to do it, don't lie to yourself. Don't put yourself in a compromising position to where when you don't go big, to when you don't drop big kills, people are going to be pointing the finger at you saying, well, hey, as our star player, where's that star power? You need to work at what you can be good at and find what you are good at. Throughout my history playing Counter-Strike, I have evolved and played many different roles. I've done just about every single role you can imagine. When I first got into the game, I played as an entry fragger. That's what I thought was the easiest to do, and it's what I was very good at doing. Seeing as how I did rank in as a Silver 4, I found that even though I hadn't been playing the game for a while, my natural gaming skill was able to allow me to easily outgun lower ranked players, and so I was easily able to succeed at that role. But I soon learned that role was not fit for me as I moved up into higher ranked play. I then moved from an AWPer to a support player to an in-game leader. I have in-game led for a few different teams before. And as you play the game more, you will find out what is good for you. So here's my closing note for all of you loyal listeners and viewers out there. Find what it is that you're good at. It might take some time, and don't lie to yourself. There's no point in trying to do something that you're not going to be able to succeed at. If there's something you have a knack for, go for it. With that said, there's nothing wrong with practicing things you aren't as good at, because if you get the exposure, you'll know that you aren't as good as them. But take the time to learn what you're good at to benefit yourself and others. I hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope that you seriously take a look at how you can improve your game and what playstyle you should play. This is Aries 1080p, signing out.